Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Welcome to the Retailpreneur program this week. I hope you're excited. I have stood quietly on the sidelines and watched Heather put this amazing program together for all of you this week. And this is one that if you have a friend that is needing great content, you can probably reach out and get in on these sessions because they're packed full of information. So today we're going to be today we're going to be working on I am a part-time team member with the SBDC with an emphasis on um, being a Franklin County advisor. Franklin County is one of the main areas that I serve, although you'll find me working with clients throughout our entire network. So um, this is a fun topic for me. It is something that I enjoy speaking on, and it's something that I really enjoy working with you to help you create a strategy that you can deploy inside of your business. So we want to thank Local Light. We want to thank Local Light for being with us. I sat in on with them last night on their session, and if you haven't checked them out, make sure that you do today. It is their platform is amazing, and it is something that can definitely help elevate the retail game. And we want to thank Freedom First, the market building, and then Cardinal News for all their support. We had an amazing event last night at the market building. That third floor is an absolute hidden gem inside of Roanoke City. So we are funded, just through the Small Business Administrated and supported through America's SBDC, Virginia's SBDC, George Mason University, Mason Enterprise. And we work closely with our economic development offices, organizations and businesses from our area. And then our physical host is the city of Roanoke, and we can't thank them enough. Um, Without them, our mission is not going to take the traction that we need. And as you can see, we currently serve the city of Roanoke, Fulton County, Botetourt County, Allegheny, Roanoke, City of Salem, Blacksburg, Town of Christiansburg, Pulaski County, City of Radford, Floyd, Giles, Town of Narrows, and Town of Parisburg with our advising services. So I will hear a lot of times when my clients are talking with me, especially my new ones, and I had this happen yesterday. Um, Yesterday morning, my client had said I had no clue that this existed and that this resource was available. So make sure that you are sharing the word about all the good things that our SBDC teams do. So we're just going to take a quick look at our agenda today. We're going to spend a lot of time in practical exercises. So if you will, drop your name in the chat, share your business name, and just kind of what you do. And that will just help us craft some really cool questions as we're going through the rest of our um, presentation. So take a look here. Awesome. All right, so make sure that we are dropping in. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to take a look at the current landscape of retail. We're going to discuss the benefits of AI and Chat GPT in retail. And then we are going to spend a lot of time in just use cases. That's where our um, the most of our presentation that I do is, and I think it's one of the best areas because it really gets your brain working and get your thought process working and how can AI, and today we're going to specifically talk about ChatGPT, how these platforms can help you inside of your business. And then we're going to go over some implementation strategies and then cover any challenges, considerations, and then we're going to have a quick Q&A. All right, here we go. So let's talk about, too far there, the current landscape of retail. as I tell everyone, is I'm at the age where I grew up when the internet first came along. So show of hands real quick. Who remembers when the internet was coming along and someone said, well, that is just a fad. This is going to be something that's going to, yeah, no, this is not going to take hold. This is not going to be something that sticks around forever. Man, was they wrong. And now look at where we are. And I'm holding my phone up for folks that can see is we have taken the internet, we've collapsed it down to where we carry it with it inside of our pockets every day. I used to work in a business where we were heavily um, focused, and a lot of our advertising dollars were spent in paper media. And the paper media folks was always like, "Oh yeah, yeah, no, paper's coming back. That internet thing's gonna go away." Man, did they miss the mark on that one? So that's okay though. They had to pivot alongside the rest of us. But here's the cool part is in my lifetime, not only have I witnessed a transition from paper advertising into digital, but now I get to play a part and have be here and present while this next innovation of AI is starting to come into our business landscape and into our everyday lives. So we went from that traditional brick and mortar business that was centered into your home area, and then in order for that business to get its message out, what was one thing that, if you remember, what's one thing that business did? Does anybody know right off the cuff? Does anybody know what that business, if that business wanted to become a regional or national business, what did they have to do? Yeah, thanks, Brian, for being here. So keep in mind, the one thing that business had to do is create catalogs. And then now those catalogs, some of your earlier adapters to basic internet stuff was some of our folks that had catalogs that they shipped out just so that's how they reached their clients. They were a brick and mortar business at their in their home zip code, but they use a catalog to reach all their audience. You could sign up and they would ship that catalog to you for free. Those are some of our first what could be beyond brick and mortar businesses because they were reaching you where they are. I can remember as a kid getting my comic book and filling out that thing when filling out the little cutting out the little thing to get the special character that was associated um, with the comic book and putting my money order in there and mailing it off and having my character come back 6 months later because of the turnaround time and the mailing and the processing time that they had. So here we are now is our catalogs are basically online or non-existent now. Very few paper catalogs exist. We've transferred those over to PDFs. So just look at how we took that original brick and mortar experience into the online e-commerce to where we could go to an Amazon, to where we could go to your website and we could order your products locally, whatever that might be inside of your business. And now here we are. And like we talked about last night in our meeting, it's coming a time to where if I want to buy your t-shirt from your company, I'm going to be able to try that on in a virtual dressing room before I even ship it and have to return it. So that's where we are headed is crafting AI is going to allow us to craft a deeper online experience for our clients, and we're going to be way beyond any kind of brick and mortar. So just that's how the role of technology has came into our brick and mortar experience. And so let's take a look at the customer expectations in 2024. Just an increased demand for personalization and convenience. We went through the phase to where a lot of folks, and it still exists, it just depends on how you want to engage as a shopper to what you're buying. Some folks are done with the longer term shopping experience of going and buying a car. Here comes CarMax into the car market. And they give you just a no hassle price. Here's what it is. If you need financing, we'll get that in place for you. Um, so we're changing and we're constantly evolving on how we are personalizing each message to each client. And each person is unique and we talk to them differently. I spend a lot of time working in the disc world. and just learning how people need to be talked to and how they want to be talked to. Same type experience for this. And this is where a lot of our technologies are helping us improve just how we are able to deliver that personal message and that personal experience to each one of our clients. And then number one thing we're looking for is convenience. Is we want and for you as a retail owner and as a shop owners, we want to make sure that the path to the sale involves the least amount of resistance. So AI and ChatGPT and some of the platforms out there can really help us craft a seamless experience for our path to the sale. It's easy, it's effortless, and it increases your profits along the way. So, um, some of the challenges that we're facing: diminished customer loyalty. I mean, we spoke about this recently, to where someone comes into your retail shop and they try on everything you have only to leave and go purchase that online. Is so we're working with our retailers to help learn what that customer's looking for and the experience that they can give to their client that is not going to be found online. Performance related issues. And when you get into performance related issues, that could be your website, that could be your team, that could be your overall experience inside of your store. The third thing that we talk about here is poor mobile experiences. If you work with me on anything digital that I do, I'll always remind you that your digital footprint is your 24-hour a day employee. Your website works for you while you sleep. It is an employee that you pay one time, and you might feed it an SEO budget. You might feed it through digital advertising, and you might feed it by sending all this traffic into it. But if we don't have the proper experience, it is going to cause our customers to leave. And then just a growth wall. There's so many people that are fighting technology. There's so many people that are crossing their arms, going back to 1990 and saying, you know what, this internet thing's just a fad. And here we are, 30 some odd years later, and evolving like we are. So don't let that growth wall keep us from growing our business. All right, so I just want to go over what that high level definition is of ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is a natural language process driven tool, or processing tool driven by AI technology, that allows you to have human like conversations and much more with a chatbot. The language model can answer questions and assist you with tasks such as composing emails, writing, and even creating code for something you'd like to add to your website. So, what you're going to see, if you have any interest in AI, one of the tools that I use is ChatGPT, and that's the one that we're going to talk about and teach today. You're going to find AI generate related tools in almost every walk of life now. If you're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all those platforms, now when you go into their search to look for friends or what have you, it also includes an AI search component. If you're into video or social media content creation, there are thousands of AI tools that you can use to create just content inside of your website. So you're going to or content that you can use inside of your social media platforms. You're going to see AI tools inside of Shopify and inside of all of our bigger networks that we use inside of retail commerce. Everybody is deploying a certain amount of AI inside of their businesses on the B2B level that that you were able to take advantage of as a business owner. So, with what we are doing with our AI and Chat GPT, is we're enhancing customer experiences, personalizing that recommendation. One of the big things you can do there is you can put in your ideal. Some businesses have an avatar, and when you have an avatar for your business, is that this is my person, this is what their interests are, this is what they wear, this is my age demographics. We can feed that information and that avatar information inside of Chat GPT and help craft better responses that for messages that's going to reach our clients. And if you're using Chat GPT from a platform, from a closed platform, and I'll explain what I'm talking about that in just a second, is if you're using it on your website as a chat feature, your client can go in as the chatbot says, "How can I help you today?" It's going to answer, your client's going to answer that question based on what they're looking for, and it's going to start feeding them what they're looking for. And as they start saying, as they start looking, as they go granular with their questions and as they start driving it down, it's going to really push them into the products that they're looking to add. I played with this. One thing I'll tell you, when you get into chat bots, don't go to your WordPress site today and say, you know what, I'm doing do what Jeff said. I'm putting this on there right now, because there's a plug-in, and all you got to do is take your Chat GPT plug in on your WordPress site and go get the secret code from Chat GPT and plug those in, and you've got a chat bot. Don't do that. You want to make sure that your chatbot is walled off from the rest of the world, and it's only pulling data from your particular website. So sometimes when you get into this, you may need a developer. There's companies that specialize with that, but just don't go in. The reason why is if you add that to your website and you don't close it off, I can come over to your website and I can get standard ChatGPT answers to what's um, how to craft my own social media marketing plan, and that information is going to be coming from your website or your bot that's not related to your site. So we want to make sure that we're if we're deploying virtual shopping assistants and chatbots inside of our site, that we're doing them appropriately. So keep that in mind. Improve customer service with chatbots. One thing, and I'll show you guys how to use this today. One thing that I've learned from my small business owners that are 1 to 2 person shops is they don't have time. They're stretched to the max. So when they get that negative review, that 1 star on Google about falling short, they don't know how to respond. This is where this can help you with that. We can take that message that the client sent on through Google for a 1 star review. We can clip that message over to ChatGPT and say, hey, help me craft a response to this. Simple as that. But then we can also take this higher level when we're trying to create different marketing campaigns or different customer experiences. We can lean into ChatGPT to help us craft those. So when you get into the operational efficiency, inventory management, demand forecasting, supply chain optimization, I have recently on a private project that I work on, I took 10 years of data that we had from just sales to sales by the day, sales by the month. Everything was in an Excel sheet. I loaded in the Chat GPT and I just started asking it questions like, what is the zip code that generates the most customers? What are the zip codes that only have one customer? And we took this data after we put it into Chat GPT, and we just kept asking it questions. And I kept saying, hey, what is this? How many people come from this state? How many people come from this? How many you can get really, really deep in the weeds with your data inside of ChatGPT to help you with just forecasting and then where to spend your marketing dollars. If I know that this zip code is generating 75% of my sales, I can really double down on my marketing efforts there. I can craft a different message because the majority of my sales are coming from a particular area. Turn that around into areas where we need growth. We can take a hard look at ourselves. Okay, why are we underperforming in these zip codes? Why are we underperforming in these states? And then we can craft a different marketing plan. So I think the cool thing there from a small business owner, that is a 1 to 2 person shop, that you're going to go at some point in time and say, man, I really wish I had, an agency that could come in and do this, but an agency wants $50,000, $100,000 to help me figure this out. This is where you can deploy this tool and taking as simple as last year's data right now. We need to start purchasing and getting ready for January and February right now. We can start working on last year's data to see what we can do for forecasting into this year. So, all right, so we're gonna spend the majority of our time now. If there's any questions, make sure you jump in and let me know. Heather is alongside me today, and I forgot to introduce Heather, but she is the brains behind this entire week that we're doing, and she is here live and is moderating the chat and is here to help everyone, um, just help everyone get their message out. But Heather, unmute yourself and tell them, give them a quick overview of just what you've done this week for Retailpreneur Week, real quick.
Thank
Because
you,
I got to switch screens while you do it.
Okay. Thank you all so much for being here today. We are so.
All right, so what we've done here is we just switched over to our Chat GPT screen. Heather, can you see my screen okay now? Awesome. All right, so we're going to just take a look at marketing to begin with. And I want you to give me some inputs. I'm going to get started, and I'm just going, here's one thing I always recommend. I was telling Heather this leading in, is this is inside, if you guys haven't seen this, or and girls, ladies, gentlemen, if you haven't seen this, you're inside the Chat GPT window now. I use a paid version. The paid version is $20 a month, and it's absolutely worth itself. If you just go over and sign up for a free account, you're going to be limited to using Chat GPT 3.5, and then you won't have any access to any of the plugins, and it gives you limited responses. If you do the paid account, you have access to 4 and 4.0. 4.0 is the latest model, and you have access to all the plugins that you'll see top left on my screen over here. The nice thing it does for me is it creates my it keeps my histories, so you can just keep all of your histories going, like so. You can jump in and do all sorts of stuff here. You can do test. You can say what time is it, right? All the cool things that you would expect any type of internet platform to do. So I kind of did a couple things there. So, but as you notice here, it keeps my coffee shop. All right. So we got Jeff's Coffee here. So we got my telephone. It's 540-555. All right. So now we just want to look at marketing. Craft, create a marketing. All right. So let me hear from you. If you're here, I'll give you a second. What do you think Jeff's Coffee Shop, what should be included that I've missed? I got my website, I got my business name, I'm located in Roanoke. What is some other things that we should include inside of our business? And then we're going to ask ChatGPT to create us a business plan. So one thing that I think that we're missing is, real quick, is core values. Yes, service and people. Mission statement, serving others. All right, just very simple. If you haven't worked on your core values and you haven't worked on your mission statement, something you can schedule with our team and we can help you work through that. So I just added a couple prompts. So we got our name, where we're located, URL, and then our website that's in there. So now we want to get this to create a marketing plan for business. And even though I'm correcting spelling, it will recognize it for you. So all we're doing right now is asking it to craft a marketing plan for us. So as it's thinking, we're just going to stop and take a look at everything. Now, when you start putting your getting responses, you want to make sure that the responses are correct. All right, ChatGPT has been known to make up stuff. It's been known to it has been known to be factually incorrect. So you want to make sure that it's not just making up something. So We want to make sure that the information is precise. So we're checking precision here. All right. And the other thing is we go here, our objective, increase foot traffic by 25%, boost online orders, build a strong community. It gives us our target audience, our secondary, unique selling proposition. Look, we didn't put this in. All right. So keep this in mind. This is one of the things, that ChatGPT is kind of making up. We didn't give it enough information to really know. We may be not having locally roasted beans. We may be outsourcing that. So these are prompts that you want to make sure that you are putting in, so that ChatGPT knows this is what we want to do inside our business. If not, it's going to pull from what it thinks you should be doing, or that is what most folks are doing. So at this point in time, when you get here in your branding and message, brand voice, warm, inviting, community focused, great coffee, served by great people at a great price. This goes into my next P. We want to make sure that we polish this message. We want to make sure that this content and information is polished into our voice. We just don't want to take this at face value. If you use ChatGPT enough and you get used to how it responds in a generic tone, when you see messages that are on other people's social media, I was sharing with Heather earlier that a colleague of ours had posted a response to a question. And I was like, that's 100% ChatGPT right there. I know what that is, because she didn't take the time to polish it. She took the path of least resistance. She cut and pasted the response from ChatGPT. And I was like, yeah, don't do that again. So just making sure, if you're going to use this and you're going to use it as a tool, we want to make sure that it fits our voice. As I told you earlier, I take complex data, and I'll show you a couple things that I do here in a second with it. Is I use complex data and in reports and things along those lines that speak in a very high level. Like these guys are economists from Visa that I had connected with at a conference, and they send out just monthly and weekly reports, but they're wrote in a very high level. If I started trying to explain it in their voice, everyone's going to be like, yeah, Jeff, that's not you. So I take the data, I load it in a ChatGPT, and I'm like, hey, explain it to me on a ninth grade level, explain it to me on a 12th grade level, something that where the language speaks to me. So we want to make sure that we are polishing our content to meet our voice. So next, we're going to give us our marketing strategies, digital website optimization, social media, email marketing. As I'm scrolling here, what's one question that you feel like, hey, this is something that we need to know? Drop it in the chat. It gives us our email marketing. All right. Traditional marketing or in-store promotion. So it's going to cover everything that we're here. Gives us an implementation timeline, what to allocate for budget. It gives you some basic numbers. Now, the cool thing I think here is when you get into right here. I'm just going to use this as an example. You can pick any area that you'd like, but a lot of the business owners I work with, they don't have a full understanding of, yeah, I've heard of Facebook, yeah, I've heard of Instagram, I know they exist, I know I need to be posting, and they take a lot of like for a coffee shop in this case, they'd be taking a lot of picture of a coffee cup with some coffee in it, and they're not telling the story of their business. They're not telling all the things that needs to go with that. So when you look at digital marketing, we're going to ask, I'll tell you what, we're going to go to social media here. We're just going to say, create a social media calendar. Right, July's right around the corner, so we're going to ask it just to create a social media calendar for July. So not only is it going to give you your weekly themes of Motivational Monday, Tutorial Tuesdays, What's New Wednesdays, Throwback Thursday, and so on, it's going to give us what we need. It's going to tell you, here's your post, here's the image that it thinks that would accompany that post correctly. So when you're struggling, when you're stuck in the weeds and you're like, I have no clue what to post today, I am so tired. This right here, if you go back to ChatGPT, ask it to create you a marketing calendar inside of your business. So not only has it give us our themes of the day, it is give us copy and hashtag and a suggested image for each one of those. Okay. So, and it is still going into the last week. We are doing a grand opening on July 1. All right, so inside of this, when we look at, we're doing a grand opening on July 1st. That can be, we can change this to anything. We're doing a July 4th special, whatever you want to say. But I'm going to ask it specifically to create an engagement social media post. And engagements, when you do engagement posts, it's going to be things that we want our clients to and friends to like, share, and comment on. Okay. So here, if you look, as soon as I kind of changed it around from generic and I was like, this is a grand opening, ChatGPT went to work. It knows our area, name of our business. And then look here, it started suggesting things that we could use, emojis. If it does things that we aren't doing, obviously we want to clean this up and then post it. If we're not giving away anything free, take it out. But this is something, if you notice, it's giving us that take action. Follow us on social media. Here's a Twitter post to accompany that. And then you got your story post. If you're not familiar with Instagram, we have our Instagram stories that we do. This is exactly the format that you would want to follow to tell the story about your grand opening. Then we want to take a look at create a conversion. New. All right. And for those that are not familiar with just social media terms, conversions is sales. Is we want to create a just a mindset that will help create a sale. So when you see that, is it starts, it kind of follows that path. Is it gives you the problem, or it positions your product. So we have here, here's our new product, and then it tells you why you're going to like it. Sometimes it will respond with the top issues that is inside of your. It gives you the problems. It tells you the problems that it wants you to overcome. Right. So my problem would be, oh my coffee gets cold too quick. So when it's going to agitate that issue. Um, it's going to agitate that issue. So if you see this type of post, as you're seeing that, is you can manipulate this in order to help fit your brand message. So, all right, so let's take a look now at just customer support. And let me. All right, so I made up a quick review here just on the customer support side of things. All right, so we got a review that we put up here, and we ask it to take our negative review and turn it into a positive. So right here's a message that we could put out. But again, we want to make sure that this is fitting into our brand message. All right. And we also ran in what this also has helped us with is identifying some issues here. So we want to go and say, all right, and we need a training a customer. Right. So all I'm going to say is we need a customer service training guide to help us train our staff. Now, the one thing I want you to see is it gives us Jeff's customer service training guide, and it also grabbed our mission statement. It knows our core values. So it knows the handful of important things that's important to us inside of our business, service and people. So it's going to create this training manual is, and here's we go down, just gives us an overview of our core values. We could realistically take this, copy it, put it into a training manual that our staff is used to train. Customer interaction, greeting the customer, smiling, making eye contact, greet customers warmly as soon as they enter. Use a friendly, welcoming tone, how to take the orders, how to handle the complaints. Again, if apologizing sincerely and taking responsibility is not something you want to do in every situation, we may have to take that out and change it and help train our staff. But this is giving you a really good guidebook on our service standards, how to build the relationships, engage, special situations, handling difficult customers, um, allergies, dietary restrictions, large orders. All right. And then it even tells us implementation, role playing, product tasting, customer feedback review. So this is just a valuable tool that helps us create that. And then look, we have a, so when you look at, we've done our marketing and over um, on our customer support side. So let's do this. Let's just do another example. You, at the end of the week, you've had an amazing week inside of your coffee shop or your whatever it is, clothing store, your restaurant, retail business, whatever it is, and you're like, and during your week, you do a great job of collecting text and emails because you want to market to your customers. But one thing I'll always tell you is don't just be sell, 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 come in and buy my stuff. We can lead with good stuff. We can lead with the thank yous. We can lead with the things. So craft email to our to this week's. You don't have time. You're like, you know what? I need to thank them, but I just don't have time, Jeff. I don't have time to sit down and craft all these messages all the time. All I did was type a really brief in prompt, and then here we are. Dear valued customers, gives us a really great opening. We've got our highlights of the week. This is not going to match most of us, but we're going to clean it up. It's going to take you minutes, not hours, and definitely not days to help create an email. And then we're going to say, add a social post. All right, so it's creating a social post, just the same thing. All right, so here's the other cool part. I don't have an So we're just going real quick. We're going to step in and say, hey, I don't even have an email platform. What is the best email platform, price and performance to use inside of my small business? So using ChatGPT as a research tool, using ChatGPT as a research tool, MailChimp, it gives you their pricing, their pros and their cons down to constant contact. So it just grabs that data, the high level data that sometimes Google doesn't give us. And it also takes me into my next thing that I like to teach on. Remember, ChatGPT is an amplifier of who you are. ChatGPT takes your weaknesses and it helps you overcome those. And then ChatGPT is here as your assistant. So you want to treat it, and the mistake I see people make is they try to use ChatGPT like Google. Um, where is the best or what have you? Is the more, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but if you notice, we preloaded business name, core values, address, website. They're just the simplest little things, and it really started learning who we are. So the more we go back to this prompt and the more information we feed it, the better that message is going to be. It will give you Google related responses, but when you're talking, when you want to ask ChatGPT a question, talk to it like it's an employee that's has a specialty in that area. If you want to talk to ChatGPT in marketing, you can always say acting as. So let's take a look at just some operational questions right now. I'd like to guidelines. So all I've asked it here is I'd like to convert my business to an S corp. What are the guidelines and how to make that happen? It's going to break it all down for us. Your entity type, it tells you the number of shareholders, your stock permitted. We've already got our business name. We already got the stuff. So it is taking us back to just ground zero. And in my opinion on this response, a lot of it probably is coming from the fact that we didn't say that we already had our legal set up in place, right? So if we would have said, hey, we had all this stuff done, but we also ask it a high level question. So it's taking us back, notify your state, all those cool things like that. So, and then we can say, so a simple question that we get asked a lot is just what is the income threshold for the S corp? So it's not determined, and if you notice, it's running back through a same lot of the questions. So kind of a Google question, but this is giving us our responses as well. Yeah, so Brian asked a question, will it condense or organize all of these responses into a document that can be exported for references? Yeah, so what you'll see, let me move some stuff around. Over here is share chat. You can either, you can share it from here. You can create a link or what have you. What I do is I grab it. I just cut and paste and I put it over on a Word document and a Word document or a Google Doc. When I'm creating content, Brian, is I'll create my content. Let's say I'm creating blog posts or I'm creating newsletters or what have you, is I will take that content and I'll create it. I'll put it over in Grammarly and then I'll really work on making sure that everything's in my voice. And then I will, Grammarly's got a plagiarism detector to make sure that nothing's been plagiarized. And it'll also give you any, when you hit the plagiarism detector, it'll also give you any particular links. When I do that, I've been less than 2% plagiarized on all the content that I've created. So great question. And it's something to be aware of. I use ChatGPT a lot just to get my brain working on different topics that I might be talking on or working on. And I was working on something the other day and it gave me just tons of data and then put it in a blog post. And I said, who else has used this content? Just ask ChatGPT that simple question. Who else has used this content? And ChatGPT was like, nobody, I made this for you. So just always fact check it. I think it's some of the biggest things. So, and it takes us into probe, which is our third P. We just want to make sure that just like what we did here with the escort question, we want to make sure that we keep just asking it to explain what you're trying to tell us. So just probing. If you, a great example that I use is I need to create an image for retail week. What would be So all I've said here, using image as an example, um, I need to create an image for Retailpreneur Week. What would be the best way for me to ask you? So if you don't know, if you got this very high level thought inside your head and you're like, I just don't know how to ask this, you can ask Chat GPT. You can kind of say, I need to know this. Could you help me with that? All right. And so it even went down as far as giving us its suggested image. So we're just going to go ahead. There's probably a couple things we need to clean up, like the website URL, the tagline, right? That doesn't necessarily fit what we're doing this week, but we're going to say, all I'm asking to do is create the image, change the URL out, and then use the rest of ChatGPT suggestions. Good question. Yeah, Brian, keep those questions coming, man. It makes this way more fun. You all are. So here's our image. Now, I'm going to tell you all something that I have noticed in the last few weeks. Spelling is getting better. Retailpreneur is really close. Week, empower, succeed, empower, innovate, succeed. Additional, struggled a little bit here, a little bit of fade here. Retail week. Roanoke spelled correctly in all the areas here. There's a little misspelling here, but it gets in a lot of cases, it would pass the test, right? So one thing I've noticed, especially with text related images, is that it doesn't, it misspells a lot of words and they become not usable. So, um, that's just making sure that, um, make sure that you check all those things. So if you do images of people, you'll notice fingers missing, you'll notice seven fingers on a hand, all the things. If you scroll social, you'll find all sorts of little gaffes that is going on, but just making sure that you check all the images that you do there. And then we want to make sure as you start to, when you get off this call, and hopefully some of you are over there with a separate window listening to me talk and saying, you know what, this is how I can deploy this inside my business right now. I love that. I do it myself when someone's like, and I start taking action on how I can do it. But just remember, use Chat GPT as a starting point or a tool to assist you in generating ideas, content, or solution for your business. And the one thing that you can do is use it to challenge assumptions and shift your perspectives. Use it to teach you. Um, we're down to about our 7 minutes left here as we jump into our 10 o'clock hour. So I want to show you one thing is that I think is super cool, and it's something that I use all the time. So two quick things is create. So all I've asked it to do is create code. This is some of the things that I struggle with is I know sometimes what I want on my site. I know what I'm looking for. I have an idea that of a great tool that I can deploy. I just don't know how to code. It's not something that I grew up in my generation. I was an internet age kid, so I was an early adopter of the internet and just learning all the things that we could do with that. But I never, I was programs came really quickly. So I ended up in the Microsofts and all those things. So I'm a really good at manipulating programs. I just can't do basic coding. Um, so just to get your brains working inside, now I use tax calculator and the Roanoke Small Business website. I've also, so here we are. It gives us all of our code, our CSS styles, all the things that just makes no sense to most of us. And then it gives you your instructions here. So create these three files, copy the HTML. Is there a login? So we can ask, is there a plugin that would match that? So here we are. It's going to give us our plugins if we're using WordPress. So for a lot of us, when you get into coding, when you get into some of this stuff, it is a high level lift um, that can be complicated. So if you have something that you're looking for to add on your website, whether it's a calculator, whether it's to develop an app, keep in mind this is a tool that you can use to help you reach that goal. Now, it's Retailpreneur Week. We're all retailpreneurs here. So here's how we're going to wrap up. Just in simple little things of using this back inside of our business is um, All right. So all I've asked you to do, and I want you to take your product, I want you to put inside of it. I used a t-shirt that is for retail business owners. If you wear the shirt, it gives you superpowers. I want you today to go to the free version, and I want you to take your A selling product and your B selling product, your worst best seller and your worst seller, and I want you to put those in. Describe all they do, what the product is, what it's made for, the superpower that it gives you at the end of the day, right? Whatever that, if it's a cup, like it keeps everything cold or hot, just and then ask it to give you 3 social media posts. You can do 5, you can do 20, but 3 is always good. A YouTube title and description, product copy, and a landing page for your website, or just play around with that. If you already have a website and you are using the paid version, take the link from your website, put it in here and say, how would you improve this? It will take your page and bring it over. So just like we said, I'm a one person business owner. I have no time for any of this stuff. I'm too busy out here taking care of my customers. So I took 30 seconds to put in this prompt, and then here is everything that I need. I just need to clean it up, put it in my voice, and make sure that it's all good. YouTube title and description. Here's our product copy that we can put inside of our website. A landing page. It tells us our headline, subheadline, suggested images, and gives us everything that we need here. All right. I hope that I have got your brains working at least into the realm of ChatGPT and all the cool things that ChatGPT does. So real quick, I want to tell you real quickly, we went through product management. So implementation is going out and getting an account and start playing with it. Make sure you train your team. Don't take it at face value because it can give you wrong answers. And schedule with me if you're inside of our network. Making sure you schedule with me in our team, and so that can help you be successful. Don't put private information into ChatGPT. Don't put anything in there. Treat it like it's if it's social securities and all those things. The things that we don't put on the internet, don't put them in ChatGPT because it's not a secure platform. And as we wrap up, make sure you follow us. We put all sorts of cool content over on our Instagram content. Our YouTube channel is full of information. And if you are interested, Entrepreneur Her event and retreat, and I was there for the first one. That I had to park cars, but it was an amazing event, and I got to connect and talk with the ladies after that. September 20th and 21st. Make sure it's on your calendar. And then our foodiepreneur, if you are a food business, October 21st through the 25th is definitely going to be the time that you need to be with us. If you got your phone and you're not on it, you can scan that QR code. If you can work with me on, I'll take you down this rabbit hole to where we can craft just a deep message on our through our advising. So whatever I can do to support you. Heather also dropped that link inside of our chat. So it's there for you. So what questions do you all have? Anything particular you would like to see? We're right on top of that hour. Yeah. So remember, up next today, 12 p.m., Mastering Retail Finance. I think it's that Tom Tanner. I know that guy. That is definitely Tom Tanner. I've gotten confirmation that is Tom Tanner's session, and he is a wealth of information. He and I was together last night, and he was like, just after the presentation, he was going home to work on and add a few extra nuggets in there to help. At 3 o'clock, foot traffic frenzy boosting in store sales. I know the guy that's moderating that. I know the guy that's moderating that one, so make sure that you're there for that one. I've got tons of questions that we're going to be putting out to the retailpreneur panelists that'll be on with me on that one. Any questions? Unmute yourself.